Welcome everyone to this Austrian episode of the Caravan Tour of Terror, a show that finds us touring the globe through the medium of horrific, chilling and disturbing entertainment. My name's Donald and I'm the driver on this quest. Joining me at my side as always, with a road atlas on his lap and bandages on his face. I'm hoping that is him, is hopefully my navigator Ali. Say hello, Ali.
Hello, Donald. It's nice to be in this moving house.
Yeah, you're an imposter, potentially, not an alien. This time we're at the lovely named Camping Paradise Garden in Austria. Ooh. In Hofnergraben 2.
2?
To check out a psychological horror film from 2014.
Is this the sequel to Hofnergraben?
Goodnight Mommy, or Ich sehe, which means I see.
Ich sehe.
Written and directed by Severin, Fiala and Veronika, Franz. And I'm going to state now, I'm betting you £100 that this is the only movie we ever cover in this podcast that is written and directed by an auntie-nephew duo. Okay? Do you want to take me up on the bet? An auntie-nephew duo. It's a rare one, but they exist. We found the unicorn.
Yeah, the Jew. Hey, well, to be fair, if I ever make a movie and we focus it on this podcast,
Ali, give us an introduction to Goodnight Mommy.
Goodnight Mommy. Goodnight Mommy is about a family that lives in a secluded lake house. It consists of twins Lucas and Elias and their mother. And their mother comes back from hospital with bandages covering her face. And the twins are convinced that the woman behind the bandages is not their mother. And that is basically the
That is it in a total nutshell.
Plot of the movie. It goes along of these very close twins and them basically just trying more and more desperate methods to find out who this woman is and where their mother is.
Yeah. Sure bloody does.
Sure bloody does.
It seems quite fun to be a twin. They have a whale of a time just doing boyhood shit.
Chuck and hail at each other. Which I'm not going to lie
with bugs. Delicious, huge hissing cockroaches.
That's the thing I'm going to start on this movie. What the fuck is with all the cockroach scenes?
It's absolutely disgusting.
It's vile. It is really vile, and I'm not a big fan of. I mean, I don't think a lot of people are, but I am not a big fan of cockroaches.
Huge fat cockroaches.
Oh my god!
No,
like,
I don't think anyone's
so
like.
Glad we don't get them in the UK.
Apart from these people,
like unless they escape from a zoo, we don't have that type of cockroach.
It's really gross, and I mean. Even the sound. I mean, I'm not that bugs. I'm not like bugs, but hearing them like being poured into a jar, and you can hear them like thumping, like with a glass hitting glass or something. That's like kind of weird.
Like they're
it's just
like they are
big. You can hear them hiss.
Yeah, it's horrible. They are the stereotypical movie cockroach, but bigger. But
they're huge.
Somehow bigger.
Austrian cockroaches are built. They are enormous.
I don't know if this is Austrian cockroaches or
they've imported the super big.
Well, like leading into what bits about this movie and not just cockroaches, they could be pet shop cockroaches because this is a wealthy family.
Made me shudder. Yeah, they live out in the woods in this amazing house.
Ridiculous. Like they have a lake, they own it, like their property borders a lake and the boys go swimming in it, and it is like
it's pretty idyllic.
Yeah, they don't own a TV though. Which is strange because it's implied that their mother is a TV hostess.
Oh, I think it's more than implied. I think they do confirm it later that she is.
Yeah, but just in the sense that like You would have
Why
a TV.
wouldn't she be more involved in her industry, I guess? She's sick of it. I don't know.
It does suggest that they have just moved there. But yeah, Donald, give me your initial thoughts on this movie.
So you follow the boys. Some of the scenes are just them kind of playing, just hanging out.
A lot of the scenes
And then-
for the first 15 minutes are just boyhood frolics.
And then it kind of, and then they steadily descend into becoming more and more convinced that this woman isn't their mother. And so it's quite interesting. There's pictures around the house, portraits of a woman, possibly their mother, but they're all like out of focus and stuff. You don't actually get to see what their mother could look like for a while. So you're never quite sure exactly what the situation is with that. I quite like the little touches like that, because it doesn't like focus on it too much, but just little things in the background and stuff.
There's a lot of
a little bit paranoid maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of really nice camera framing and production design, like that kind of stuff. They clearly a lot of thought has gone into that.
Yeah. There's very artful shots as well at times.
Yes.
Just even in isolation, they're very nice shots. There's one of I don't know which brother it was, but he's floating on a lake, and then the lake's really glassy, so the reflection underneath the water, it looks like both of them kind of floating, and
that one was a
really
really excellent shot. It is Elias lying on the water, floating along, and you just get that. It's that reflection is so. You do actually. I was sitting going, "Are they? He's floating on his brother." And also the first reveal of the mother is a really well done shot. As they come into her room, as she's just come home, and she's standing at the blinds, opening and closing them, and she closes them and turns round, and the way that the mask and the bruising and swelling on her face is caught in the shadow is just like very inhuman. It creates a kind of like, it looks more like a mask, like a full-on mask, and creates a really like dark ethereal feeling from this just initial turn. And then she walks out, and it is a much softer person behind that. But the boys ain't fucking having
that. What's with the cat in the? So I was confused by this bit.
Yes.
I think I looked away from it, looked back, and they seem to be in some kind of
mass grave.
Yeah.
Mass grave is the only way you can put it.
There's just,
It's human bones.
It's some kind of crypt, but all the bones are just scattered everywhere.
Yeah, so
they find a cat.
They're literally...
They follow a cat there.
No, they're frolicking in the woods.
Yeah.
Frolic, and then they hear a noise and in a hole.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like a crypt. It just looks like a hole. And that's why I call it a mass grave.
This cat's been murdering for centuries.
Apparently. And they come in, they crawl into the hole and crawl over all the definitely human bones, and they find what I initially thought was a pregnant cat.
Yeah.
It's quite fat for being homeless and in a crypt. But yeah, they take this cat home. And that's the only time that area is seen, mentioned.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Just a mass grave near your house.
So the mother is acting a bit cold to them. It's kind of evidence, like she thinks they're up to something. They hide the cat under the bed, and she thinks they're up to something, and she literally turns the room over like she's the Gestapo, and she's very from the get-go, she's acting pretty unfriendly towards them, which I think they already, as soon as they saw her, I think because her face was covered, they weren't sure. But then the way she's acting, they say that, oh no, my mother wouldn't do this and all that stuff. So that stuff kind of escalates. Their paranoia escalates, and their mother's coldness towards them kind of escalates.
Yeah,
it's a film of rising tension.
Yeah, volatility is definitely in the mother. Like very hard swings in her mood and her attitude.
They put a bug in her mouth.
It's fucking horrible.
They take a huge cockroach and go into her room when she's sleeping, and they put it on her face, and it crawls around her face for a bit, and I was like, oh no. And then it crawls right into her mouth.
Then the scene goes away.
Then the scene ends, and it's never
mentioned
know.
Again. Like, I get, would she not go and wake up?
So there's other points where there's nightmare scares.
Yes.
But they all do have this slightly cliched moment where they wake up and be like, you are, it was a dream. This doesn't have that.
No.
So it's implied that happened, which is odd.
The first one of these scenes I found very effective, where the boys see the mother going outside and walking into the woods. And it follows the mother.
Getting her kit off.
And she progressively gets naked and stands.
That's just a posh, fancy way of saying she gets her kit off, Ali.
Okay. And she stands in the middle of the woods, and the camera pans round, and it really she obscures her face from the camera until it can't be obscured anymore, at which point it is just she does what the Flash does to hide his identity.
Her face goes back and forth very quickly. That kind of thing does happen in horror movies, and it just never works for me in terms of being creepy. It just never does anything to me.
No, totally. Like I was like, oh, why is she getting naked? Oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like, and then see the moment it moves round, and then she was like shaking all over the place. I went, oh, okay, it's a dream.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, all right.
It does kind of diffuse it a little bit from the initial. What's she doing? There's a scene where she's in her room and her bandages are off. And then she hears the boys come in, and she quickly puts the bandages back on, which kind of heightens the kind of intrigue of it, in terms of she does seem to be actively hiding something from them. So you are kept unsure about what exactly is going on there, which I thought was quite good. You're never... It's kind of a mystery film for most of it.
Yes.
It's not... I mean, you had the head shaky scare is probably enough to label it horror anyway, and there's other things. There's a moment of disgusting, intense gore, which comes out of basically nowhere, which we'll talk about later on. But it is psychological thriller. It's kind of like, it's quite like Sleep Tight in that way, but I find Sleep Tight to be much more disturbing.
Whoa. Get into reviews.
No. Just in terms of shock and disgust. So,
one thing I do want to note because this movie is...
Yeah, we're getting up to this point.
We are, and I do know it is...
I've actually marked it. So I've got a plot thing in front of me, and I marked where I want to say it this time, because I'm becoming more professional as we get on, instead of just arbitrarily choosing seemingly at random.
Go you. One thing I did want to note is I don't usually talk about the way that I watch these movies, and as in like what format and blah blah blah, but I really wanted to point this out. So I watched this on Prime, and it is available on Prime, but only in German with English subtitles. That is your only option. Unless you either watch it on Shudder or buy or rent it. In which case, you get it in English and no subtitles are available.
What?
Yeah. And they are separate choices.
So what did you watch it in?
I watched it in German with English subtitles because I'm
Thank
not a
God,
monster.
I was getting worried.
Yeah, obviously. Come on.
I was getting a little bit worried.
And the weirdest part, when you start watching it in German, subtitles are off by default.
Yeah. Yeah. So weird.
But aside from that,
Makes no
like
sense.
I think I saw one spelling error in the subtitles, but apart from that, it was like usually that indicates a kind of slapshod distribution.
Yeah.
And you tend to have like lower quality subtitles or things not really like being as. But no, nothing.
Doesn't sound like natural English.
No, it was totally fine. It was just they've not merged these two together because clearly
Right,
they're
1-star review on Amazon.
Yeah. 5 stars on 1 star on Shudder.
I
5
watched
stars
this whole
on
thing in
Amazon.
German. So, let's get into Spoiler Town. Okay?
Yep.
We're in Spoiler Town.
We're in Spoiler
Spoiler
Town.
City.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to talk about something that was actually after the spoiler mark in my little notes, but fuck it.
Cool.
Spoiler time now.
Cool. It's spoiler time. Then I'm going to say, from about 5 minutes into this goddamn movie, I had guessed the twist.
Unfortunately, I knew it almost immediately because I'd seen something that was a half spoiler until I started watching the movie and then realized it was a full spoiler. So I can't even compete with you in the I saw it 4 minutes in the game because it's a rigged game for me. I was like, oh shit, that was a spoiler.
Yeah, I
can tell you what the spoiler is, but then that would spoil another movie, so maybe I won't. Because we're not
definitely
having
not
a spoiler
here, yeah.
warning for another film.
Yes. Yeah.
So for the people that don't care about spoilers, what's the twist?
The twist is Lucas is dead. Lucas has been dead the whole movie, and
I covered up for the non-spoiler people by saying, which brother was it?
Yeah.
So that would throw them right off earlier, yeah. I'm smart.
Yep.
It's unfortunately, I think they're going for, it's not, it's a well-earned twist in terms of, see if you go in knowing that that's a twist, it sets it up loads.
No.
But I think too much.
My-
No, I'm saying well-earned as in it's not a bullshit twist where they just make something up that didn't get set up. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
it's well-earned in the fact
Oh,
that it's set up. I'm saying it's overly set up, probably. But
it's telegraphed
right,
at that point.
I literally can't be the judge, but it seemed to me like, there's a lot of opportunities where Lucas doesn't get acknowledged in the room over and over again. And I mean, they do
over and over and
they do
over
say
and over.
early that their mum has fallen out with him. So that's kind of that could maybe have washed, but then there's other people in the film that also never acknowledge him, and
Yeah, I mean that
is pretty.
That was the bit, like the first time that there's another character other than these 3 characters in the movie was the bit I was like, right, that's it.
The pizza delivery man,
pizza
and Lucas is already in the room and doesn't look at him.
No, yeah.
So it's So
The
it's
bit that my suspicions were tickled when she first is like, he's whispering, Lucas is whispering to Elias, and then she's not acknowledging him at all. Then they were really, really reinforced when they're sitting at the table and he's like, hey, you've only made food for me and none for Lucas. And she's like, you know why? She says the words, you know why. And I'm like, okay, so Lucas is dead then? And then and then see from then on, my God, like I was not tense through a single
and the evidence,
moment.
The evidence just builds up and up.
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
They definitely do too much.
And the thing is, there are some really, really like excellent moments that suggest this. And my favorite one is Lucas is playing the piano. And do you know how I know how it's Lucas? because the mother has made it glaringly obvious that she wants silence in the house, and he's playing piano, and she walks by.
I never picked up on that one. So there you go. See, that would be a nice. See, if they hadn't over-egged it, that's a nice thing that you would probably add, like I did. You'd probably forget about. But now I say it.
Exactly.
Yes, you did say that. Yeah.
But because that had been reinforced up to that point, I was like, there's another, like, they really just shine a spotlight on it so much. But yeah, he's sitting playing the piano, and as he steps back off of the piano, he looks onto the wall, and it's just covered in pictures of him and Elias. And Elias walks up on the left-hand side of the screen and looks with him. And then he takes a step and stands next to his brother, and the picture he was obscuring has a single person in it. That is a fantastic shot.
Yeah.
If you don't do all these other ones, I mean, no, that doesn't take away from how good that shot is, but the effectiveness of it is diminished because of this.
Do you know what I was most outraged by in this whole film?
Is this a red herring?
What fucking charity muggers?
Oh yeah. Also, what the fuck is that all about? They just walk into his house.
What charity muggers? Come in, find that there's no one in. There's no one. You're knocking on the door. Red Cross. Hello, hello. Oh, the door's open. I'll just walk in. I still can't see anyone. I'm going to walk upstairs.
The door wouldn't be unlocked if there was no one home.
In the country. Out in the country in the middle of nowhere.
They get suspicious at the boys, and I'm like, get the fuck out their house.
And then they sit there, and then the boys give. I'm gonna always refer to them as the boys, even though we know there's only one. The boys offer them money from their mum's purse, and they're like, "Oh, they can afford it. It's a nice house."
That is for me. That was the.
Are the Red Cross aware of their depiction of this film?
For me, that was the worst scene in the movie, because that scene is only there for one reason, and.
Yeah. So,
we're
we're post spoilers, but just in case you don't care about it, so I've jumped ahead a bit. The film takes a big turn, and that's why the spoiler thing's there. When the boys decide that they're going to take matters into their own hands by tying their mother up, basically. There's a lot of others. There's little moments of stuff that happens, but let's just cut.
Can I just say,
the boys tie them.
The cat dies, and they put it in a.
They Damien Hirst it
in the middle of the table.
Yeah. And then she starts pouring the cockroaches in with it. It's, again, gross cockroach stuff. That is probably good to mention the cat in the mystery fluid.
Yeah. I thought water. I honestly thought water initially.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not, as we find out later.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff escalates between
everyone,
the mother and the sons, and she's locking them in, and she's being properly abusive now. She's like, she's beating Elias and stuff like that. So they tie her up, and they basically start torturing her. They're
use a magnifying glass to burn a hole into her skin.
Yeah. They super glue her lips shut and then decide to cut them open to feed her pizza, and they do a bad job of it, and blood squirts absolutely everywhere.
And that's why
it's disgusting.
Yeah, just to tie that back in, that is why the Red Cross scene annoyed me so much. So up until the Red Cross scene, she has tape over her mouth. And the Red Cross scene is just there so that she can yell help, so they super glue her mouth shut. And I was just like, really, like these two just charity workers wander into it's just so
I'd go upstairs. She's upstairs,
clumsily set up.
Yeah. There's no way in real life that would ever happen. But they need to inject a bit of tension and get a bit of escalation of the. And it is as they're cutting the super glue off, they nick like her actual lip, and it just that really did make my toes curl. It's so because it's like. Just slowly cutting the scissors and then hit something, blood squirt. She goes, like, oh god, it really is horrible.
And it doesn't look too over the top. It just looks like exactly what would happen if you literally just took a piece of. Yeah, it's
basically then the boys become the antagonists.
yes, and that is actually where I found my horror movie came in, is like you see the breakdown of these boys and the desperation of these boys to make this woman admit that she's not their mother. And you do like, and I feel that even if I hadn't guessed it, like at this point, I'd be like, it's their mother. Whoa. Like she is like desperate, crying. And there's little things like, she had a mole on her cheek and they rub it off.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. And then she's like, oh, they removed it, they're dangerous. And I'm like, that doesn't sound real. I mean, even if they get removed, there's usually a little scar or something. I don't know.
Well, she's had plastic surgery.
She's had plastic surgery, yeah. But I was just like... But then she
also
drew it back on.
Also, has she? Because...
So it is very ambiguous. Yeah. Oh, she has a twin, by the way, but she says it's... A friend. Well, she claims it's a friend who likes to dress exactly like her, but looking at the picture, I was like, they're twins, right? Mm-hmm. So... Twins run in families. She has had twins, or her sister has. So yeah, it's still the background for why that might have happened, though, is not really explored. So you don't really have any firm motive for why she would persist in the lie after being tortured. So Oh, I forgot. My favorite bit in isolation was they run away, the boys, before the torturing starts. Sorry, they run away. They run to the local town, and it's being patrolled by the worst accordion squeeze box player ever. Just tunelessly hammering out a beat. Why? It seems incredibly disturbing. Why has no one chucked a saucepan at this guy's head by now? And then obviously, because they're in distress, they run to the local priest who drives them straight back to home. As you would. I was like, yeah, of course he's not gonna take them to the police station. They're two children saying their mum's been replaced by an identical imposter or whatever. Yeah, why would you not just go talk to her? So the mother, well, the finale of the film obviously is pretty good. She manages to kind of half escape and then runs into a tripwire that they've left for her, slamming her head straight into the ground, into the patio. And she wakes up bound in the living room. There's candles everywhere. There's the Damien Hirsted cat in what is now they prove to be flammable liquid.
Ridiculous.
And they give her the hardest test ever to pass to prove that she is actually their mother. They say to her, this is where you can carry on, this is where the big reveal happens. Yes,
because this is the point where the twist is revealed for
anyone who's been sleeping for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I say that, but I wish I hadn't had it spoiled, because I might have come in and be like, no, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll never ever know.
Thankfully, that never happened, because we might have had to end the podcast with me berating you that much.
I will say, compared to like The Sixth Sense or something, I can't just like trying to look at it objectively, I can't imagine people are going, oh yeah, because there was a couple of moments that actually can be taken two ways. These moments can't really be taken two ways very often.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So she awakes super glued to the floor, which first of all, also
not the how much super glue?
Also,
liters.
They decided to super glue one of her eyes.
Yeah, I was confused about that as well.
And she basically breaks down and she's like, I'll play along again. I'll pretend Lucas is alive. I'll make 2 dinners. I'll put out 2 sets of clothes. I promise. And then Lucas appears from behind Elias in a very like...
Which should be possibly enough evidence as it is. She's acknowledging stuff that happened when... I don't know. Unless they think she was replaced post-death but pre-surgery. I don't know. I don't understand what they're thinking. No, they're not thinking their best. I'll say that.
And, yeah, Elias is basically like, Lucas is still alive. What are you talking about? he believes his brother's still alive. Then Lucas goes over to... Not real Lucas, I need to say that very clearly. Not real Lucas walks over to the curtains and holds a candle up to it, not setting it on fire. And Elias goes, "We'll give you one last chance, and if you can do this, we'll definitely let you go." What's Lucas doing right now? And she's like, fuck! That's literally the only way, like...
If you were our mother, you could see him right now.
Yep. Yeah. And then he goes over and grabs Lucas's hands and sets fire.
They set fire to the cat tank, which explodes.
Yes.
Basically, fire spreads everywhere, and you get a nice little shot of her
bursting
alive.
into flame.
Yeah.
And then the most casual, lackadaisical firefighters try to put this fire out. Did you notice that at all? They're so slow. They're just like like they do a little jog once it's all, but it like you see firefighters either in real life.
I've got a feeling she might be dead by that point. In their defense, probably the entire room is probably
I don't believe that's 100% how firefighters go about their business. They don't go,
yeah, they're dead here.
We can take our time.
Take it easy. Put the kettle up. We're paid by the hour.
But yeah, as these firefighters are putting out the fire, you can see ostensibly the mother in the walking through the scene, getting no attention paid to her.
Looking beautiful and immaculate,
yes.
Unbandaged.
And our final shot is the boys running through. It's not really a cornfield; it's just a field through the big tall
it's some croppage. I don't know what it is. They ran through it earlier and I was like, that's not corn, but it's corn adjacent.
It's weird because that was also my thought of just, that's not corn, doesn't matter, like as if it should have been. And then and then they have this, they run out and they're reunited with their mother, who's nice and unburnt. And they all turn to the camera, and they're all dead together
for an extended period of time, and then that's it.
Yeah, and it's kind of ambiguous whether Elias died in the fire or didn't. But considering he is a schizophrenic now feral boy, I don't think he's got long.
So, what do you have for me this week on Ali's Theme Corner?
I'm going to have to end up getting a theme song for this, which means more trawling through royalty-free music. Yeah, this one's definitely probably a quicker theme corner than last week's, because I really didn't get a lot of, like...
Themes?
Yeah, like, I feel a lot of it is just about, like, the pain of loss. And again, my view of this movie is definitely skewed by how I was watching it I guessed and I'm not meaning because I'm so smart to learn it, but just in that, like, I guessed it, so I had a lot of thoughts of what these people were going through after the quote-unquote twist. So, yeah, I feel it's more about that pain and loss and what it can really do, but I feel it more just went for setting up what it wanted to reveal to the viewer rather than actually exploring anything deeper within what, like, imposter syndrome or having this break or this removal from your life, especially such a huge one that is a twin. It was just... he's lost it because it's lost. Like, I felt just a bit shallow.
And that was Ali's Theme Corner. Yeah, we'll need to work on that. Maybe some classy horns. Oh, the horn section? No.
Oh, right. Are they not classy horns?
There is actually a real disorder called capgras. It's probably capgras or something. It's French. It's French surname. Capgras delusion, where you believe that a friend or a close family member has been replaced by an identical imposter.
I didn't know the name of it, but I'm sure I'd seen it in one of my Wikipedia holes of...
Yeah.
It's one
probably
of those...
been in some daytime cop show or some
or
house episode or something.
12 medical shows and stuff, yeah. Yeah.
So I was pretty bleh about this film up until when they tie the mum up, because it wasn't, in retrospect, okay, the performance of the boys, Lucas and Elias, Elias, yes, that is their real names, and they apparently auditioned 240 twins for this role.
Wait,
I'm gonna be bluntly honest.
240 twins or 240
I don't know if it's
sets
sets
of twins?
I don't know. I'm gonna say sets because it's less work. I'm gonna say, be brutally honest, that I didn't particularly enjoy their performance for nearly all of this film. Although it was a bit better when they were portrayed as being not sociopathic's not the word, but when it was portrayed, actually they've lost it.
Delusional.
Colloquially. Delusional, yes, that's what I'm looking for. Because I just found their performance really I've written down here a bit crap and blank in bunny ears, because I'm like,
stiff
it's just
unemotional and
and it didn't give me the kind of sense of tension for their plight particularly. So I didn't feel like, as opposed to there's a scene of this where Elias hides under the bed and the mum's stomping about, and I felt my pulse probably lowered. Whereas the same basic scene in Sleep Tight, when the person hiding is actually the villain of the piece and you want him to be caught, I was like, oh my god, I'm really worried for him. Most of this film, I was like, I was actually quite surprised. I'm not going to like this, but then it did redeem itself a bit. I found it more interesting when they flipped it, and it was the kids that were actually being the antagonists of the film. So I came out of it being like, okay, it was all right. It rescued it. It was okay. Pretty good. That's my review.
Okay.
Really nicely shot.
But
if it doesn't give me that kind of tension, which it didn't, then what am I here for? Really? That's all.
I was not scared at any point in this movie. And actually, rarely for me, I watched this one alone.
Oh.
Which, see, when I first got that shot of the mum turning around, I was like, oh. That's probably the closest I had to a scare or anything. That initial shot is
there's
great.
gross out moments.
Oh yeah. No, there's plenty of moments when I felt like
the bug stuff's disgusting.
The bug stuff. There's a very weird moment where
the nightmare.
The boys just walk into the mum's room while she's sleeping and take a Stanley knife. Why have these boys got a Stanley knife?
They've got a big fucking Stanley knife. I said that as well. I was like, that's a big fucking knife for these kids.
And their mum's sleeping in the bed and they just start jabbing into her stomach and ripping it open. And then
that's
they wake
always
up.
Gross. It was gross in Green Room. It's gross in this. But the problem is, that anytime that happened, I was like, nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a problem with horror films that rely on that. The scary stuff for me is stuff that could potentially happen, or stuff that's totally... like ghosts. They're not going to happen, but if they did, oh my god, the rules are off. But every time a scary thing happened in this film, my first thought was, oh, they're dreaming. Before, as soon as anything happened, I was like, oh, it's a dream. Before, I was like, oh, that's disgusting. Or
also when they cut open her stomach, guess what crawls out? A bunch of cockroaches. So so many cockroaches. Basically,
imagine if you didn't have a problem with bugs. What the hell is this movie doing for you then? You've got the lips, so that's basically it.
Genuinely, most of my notes are about either cockroaches,
Noticing the
cockroaches. This boy is dead, or is this a red herring? The amount I genuinely thought that this movie was telegraphing it so much that I was like, right, they want me to think this.
At one point, there's a scene with a vacuum cleaner, and
it's also, by the way, also quite inconsistent at times about what their rules are for this boy's ability to interact with the world.
Yeah. At one point, I was wondering if we're still in spoilers. This is going to be a nightmare for you. I was wondering if the Lucas and the mum were both dead, and it was her twin sister that was trying to help him somehow, or some weird thing like that, because he'd been disturbed, which ultimately, well, I mean, I suppose there's actually no proof that that's not what happened, because she does potentially have a twin sister, but they leave it totally ambiguous. But that's the only time I was like, maybe there's a twist on the twist. So I had the same thought of you as, this is the pre-twist that's really obvious, and then there's going to be twist.
But yeah, essentially, I at a certain point I started watching this movie as more like a psychological drama. Like I was watching this as a family struggling to cope after the death of one of their, like, you know, the boy, their son brother, and it put, like, see framing it in that context completely removes the scare. Because you know, you said earlier about, like, the mother goes mental and she starts abusing, like, and I'm like, that's like, I don't condone her behavior, absolutely not. No, but
there's physical violence in there, I'm sure.
No, there is. Yeah, she slaps him. She slaps him, and you know,
I don't know where you're going with this.
No,
this is off. This is wildly off.
No, it's a mother so frustrated because because all those moments where she lashes out the most is when he is the most insistent that Lucas is alive. It's not like Lucas is alive, but it's that kind of like, we are going to do this, and you know, it's like you can see, and that is where that kind of moves into the boys becoming the antagonist, because you can see it become more frustration. This woman stops becoming scary, both physically, with the bandages soften over time and her swelling goes down, and I feel that this movie would actually be better if the twist was up front. Like, if they put this, like, oh my god, the boys, like, you know, the way Sleep Tight does, where, you know, right up at the start you've got maybe about 5 minutes, and then there's this twist of, oh my god, he's the villain. Like, I think that would have worked better, and then look at this psychological drama of a family that's just falling apart and cannot cope and are breaking down psychologically much more in the terms of the boy. Because I saw a better movie that way, like, mainly just because.
Don't compare it to Sleep Tight.
No.
Sleep Tight's really good.
No, I'm meaning it in this. I saw a better movie where it was less trying to be a horror.
I do know what you mean. Yeah,
and I think I would have enjoyed exploring that more than I would have exploring. Can we trick the audience? No.
How did Elias die? I was wondering if right. First of all, they don't actually say, do they? I don't think they do.
What?
So how he died? Because this is where you jump in and say, oh no, it was a car crash. They said in the scene. I was like, oh shit, I missed it. I forgot.
No.
So I was wondering if he maybe drowned because of the reflection scene, but also there's a scene where they wander into a cave and it's like pitch black and then nothing happens. So I was like, I was already like, right, he's either drowned or he's died in that cave, because I knew instantly what had happened. So I was trying to guess quickly. Right, where does this happen?
So yeah, the only clues you get to Lucas's death is that Elias was somehow involved in an act. Like, the two of them were involved in an accident, and Elias could be to blame in not a direct sense. He was definitely there, but could have been either the cause or...
So it could have just been them playing together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it also could have been, like, absolutely not his fault. And but I was also thinking car crash because the mother's face. Things like that. Like, it could have been a case where, like, they were playing and he had to go to the hospital and the mother was driving and... Like, I don't even know if the dad is actually alive. There is no mention of divorce. The dad is mentioned.
Yeah, she's taken down all the pictures of him. But that could be because he's... I suppose if he died tragically...
True.
Well, yeah, I suppose you could... Well, you could still take down pictures if someone dies tragically so you don't get reminded of it, I guess. I'm not sure.
Also, they have just moved...
Struck me more as divorce, but...
Yeah, they've also just moved to this house.
Yeah. So I took it that I took it. There's actually a phone call where she talks about how difficult it's been after the... I'm sure she even says accident. This is before the twist. Incident. I'm sure it's incident. So I took this to be death and then divorce. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure he's alive. My money is going to be on drowning just because I'd have to go back and figure out which brother it was that was on top because it's all on floating because there's obviously only one and it's a reflection. But my money would be on the brother that's alive. I always get him confused. Is the one floating and then his reflection is taken to be a drowned twin. That's just my 2 cents.
So, just so you don't have to go back, it is Elias because within the first, say, 10 minutes of this movie, the boys are predominantly playing around, but a lot of hide and seek, and it is always Elias looking for Lucas, and that includes when he's on the water, and he's just floating along saying, "Lucas."
There you go. Lucas? Right. Okay. So I'm doubling down. I'm sure. I think he's drowning. But,
because that one's a weird one. Of like,
there's only one of them in the shot.
Yeah, cool. Like,
and where the hell's the other one?
Like, you're getting several angles of this wide lake, and it's like, why is he quietly saying Lucas?
Yeah. I'm a genius.
You are a genius, yes.
If you know about the twist basically before you start watching, you can guess just like me. Right, let's go post spoilers because and let's try and remember not to mention the death.
Yes, Donald. What would you give this movie?
I'd give this movie... I've not rated on IMDb yet.
Oh, yeah, you do that kind of stuff.
I do that kind of stuff. I'd probably give it a 6. A 6 for me means I would tell certain people to watch it, but it would be far from any kind of blanket recommendation of people that like this kind of thing. That's what a 6 is to me. Genre fans might like it. And by genre, I don't even mean horror. I mean like weird psychological horror. You've got to get a bit specific with this stuff. It's fine. It's rescued in the last third. It's okay. It is well made, but it didn't do that much for me. And I was quite surprised and disappointed by that, to be honest. I was expecting big things going in. Maybe to its detriment. Yourself?
I don't think I could personally recommend this movie that much. It is a well crafted movie, definitely. But I just didn't get a lot out of it. I don't think it's... I think it's quite a on the surface movie, personally. And there are better examples of this framework.
I feel like the setup was really good. I am quite surprised that we both came out of this not really liking it particularly, because the synopsis of this film, I was always like, that does sound like it could be really compelling, and I was quite shocked at how uncompelling it truly. I really didn't feel compelled at all by it for a long period of time of the film, but yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I actually, like, you find the concept, like, if they'd gone the concept of that is not their mother, I probably there's a whole different movie there, and let's go see that one. No, it's not, and I like, it's not garbage. I didn't hate my time with it. It's just, I just didn't get a lot out of it.
Yeah. That is a solid 6 out of 10 for me then.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't do numbers. I don't do numbers. They're too.
Oh yes, you don't like put yes.
I live in the moment, Donald.
The trivia for this movie says that throughout, the difference between the twins is Elias is left-handed and Lucas is right-handed, and this is shown many times. I did not notice that once.
Didn't notice it once. One thing I did notice is that Lucas is always wearing darker clothing.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what other people think then?
Yes, please.
Well.
Oh, wait, no, sorry. Hold on. One thing that allegedly happened was the actress in this lived alone for 3 months to prepare for the role, so often completely swaddled in bandages, and kept 2 pet cockroaches. Do you think that was worth it? Because I sure fucking don't. I mean, her performance was fine, but I wouldn't particularly...
Why did she live alone for 3 months?
In
this movie is about living alone for 3 months.
I guess to feel isolated
and disconnected from people, I suppose.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like, it was fine. It wasn't a bad performance.
No, I enjoyed her performance. I'm just saying
it was better than the 2 boys, who haven't acted since, as you might expect, because this role is pretty bloody specific to them.
Mm-hmm. Certainly
Sorry,
is.
tell me what other people thought of this film.
Well, M. Cosman on IMDb says, this is the single worst movie by far that I have ever seen in my entire life. That's the title.
They always love hyperbole, these guys.
The review is that 6 times.
What?
This is the single worst movie by far.
That.
Yeah.
Nice. Enlightening.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever click on these people's profiles and see if they've called something else the worst movie they've ever seen in their life?
No.
Or is there only ever one?
I don't.
And the rest, they're very consistent.
Yeah. And yeah, all their other reviews are always really thoughtful.
Just middling or good, or great. But they only ever call one the worst.
Nur Mustafa says, sick movie. I am really feeling sick after watching this movie. These kinds of movies should not be allowed.
Cockroach movies, I'm with you. Ban this filth.
Then again, on the other side, Devil's Neighbor 667.
I think I said Dibble's neighbour. His name means right. Okay.
Devil's Neighbor.
The Devil's neighbour.
Sorry, it's my accent, mate.
Oh God.
Says, wow, an amazingly creepy movie with dark violence and a huge twist at the end. People look up reviews before they watch movies.
I actually try not to. I actually don't.
I know you don't, but I'm saying people.
Yeah, true. If I think I'm going to like a movie enough, if I think I'm going to watch a movie, I don't watch the trailer anymore. It just gives away too much. I don't enjoy doing it. Just go see the fucking movie.
Just fucking go see it, eh?
I did watch the Dune trailer, though. I had to. I couldn't help myself.
The Dune trailer, yeah. Whoa. Anyway.
What?
And the final review, which I think really, I think it really aligns with what you felt of the movie. Sun ZNC says, haunting, powerful, stunning, 10 out of 10. Whoa.
Hey,
Powerful, dramatic, engrossing film. I was not expecting the ending. Caught me completely by surprise. The acting is excellent by everyone, especially the twins.
Don't say it. God.
I was so involved. I never even thought how it might all end. Wonderful seeing a film with no CGI, no chase scenes, no explosions, no mindless action.
Is this the first movie this person's watched other than Transformers or something?
If that's your thing, you won't like this.
Oh,
this
God.
is going to haunt me for a long time.
He sounds so happy about the fact that he's been disturbed. Hey,
2 out
every
of 3
film is
people
someone's favourite.
found this helpful.
Oh dear. I'd quite like to watch a film through that guy's eyes. You know?
Yeah.
We're,
I'd love to.
We're chuckling, but he's had an epiphany. He's had a road to Damascus moment. We're just sitting here like 6 out of 10.
And Colin A says junk.
Junk. 1 out of 10 would that be?
1 out of that's a one star review. I do not think this movie is a 1-star junk movie.
Yes. You don't ascribe any numbers, so
No, you don't think I can guarantee you wouldn't say this is a 1-star movie.
no, God.
Because you
Six
think
out of 10. 6 out of 10.
you-
3
you
stars.
would never,
I'm giving it 3.
Do you have a
stars.
1 in 10? I think you should have only a 1 and
I've
one
mentioned this-
movie in 1 and only 1 movie in 10. I.e., the
I've mentioned
worst
this
movie
before.
you've
The
ever seen.
closest I got was 2 out of 10 to Anderson Falls at Glasgow Fright Fest.
Yes.
That's the
No, I
closest
know,
I've
but
got.
this is what I'm putting forward is that
I should find a movie that's one, or
No,
I should think about.
it should be a moving scale because 1 out
Yes.
of 10 should be your worst movie.
Yeah,
And a 10 out of 10 should be your favourite movie. But then again, that's not necessarily true because a 10 out of 10 should be this movie could not improve on anything.
I've never.
And
I
you
don't
would
think I've
never
ever
think
rated
that.
anything 10. No, and I think a 1 out of 10 would probably be the worst Adam Sandler comedy or something like
Jack
that.
and Jill.
Bad comedies. Even that's got redeeming features because Al Pacino, you can laugh at the fact he's in it. I saw
I'm-
shilling
But
dunking
I could
Dunkin'
do
Donuts.
that. I could do that from the poster.
Yeah, I suppose true.
I don't have
but
to.
I still think that would be a 2.
Then
'Cause-
you and I
'cause
are worlds
you
apart.
need to
I
find
think
something. You need to find something mundanely bad, and I don't think Jack and Jill's that because the whole concept of that film is like a piss take, but they've made it. It's hilariously terrible. But I wouldn't watch it. Fuck off.
we've both
was-
tried.
Yeah. You were the one that welched on it. Other films to watch. I was racking my brains about this. And I was like, do you know what? And then I decided to tell people to go watch Audition by Takashi Miike. Not in any terms that they're similar films in terms of plot or like themes or anything like that. Just mood, just similar moods. Don't want to go into any more about what happens in either of the films, but that's it. So next time,
We're back in Italy.
nope, we're never going to Italy again. Don't worry about it. No. Well, never say never.
Yeah,
we're
I
going to
know.
Hungary actually
Really?
to see. Yeah,
What
we're going to
borders
Hungary.
that? What borders that on Austria?
It's on there. It's the.
I
think
do-
it's the northeast from memory.
I'm not the one driving. I
We're
don't know
going
where
in
any
an
of these countries
anti-clockwise
are.
circle, so we've gone kind of up and right. So we're going to see. I'm going to butcher this. It looks like Georgie, okay, but then I'm like Georgie, Georgi, maybe Georgi Palfi. I'm going to go with Georgie Palfi, okay, and it's just because him and me are mates. Georgie Palfi's 2006 surrealist comedy drama horror Taxidermia. It sounds a bit mad.
Surrealist.
Will we like it?
Comedy.
Who the fuck
horror
knows?
drama.
Surrealist comedy horror drama. It allegedly, according to Wikipedia, the brief amount I read about
This
it,
is
I
the
really don't like
most
doing
we've
these
ever
things.
had about an upcoming movie.
Yeah. I just wanted to get you fired up. I think it's some kind of metaphorical history of Hungary post World War II. Enjoy. As two noted historians of Hungary, I'm sure we're going to draw lots out of it.
Well, look forward to next week's episode when Donald will be butchering more things like Georgie Palfi and Hungary, as he just said.
Did I say Hungary? I apologise.
In the meantime, I'm going to work on my Hungarian. It's been a while since I've been there. And I didn't speak, I think I spoke 3 words of Hungarian when I was there last time.
Expert.
Yeah.
You can take the lead on this one.
Yep.
You know much more than I do.
Yeah, well, God, this, I don't really want to leave this paradise. It's paradisical. So,
this paradise garden.
Do you know what? For the first time, we're not gonna start the motor and drive away. We're just gonna bid you all adieu and enjoy this beautiful sunset.
That's nice. Bye.